Good morning, everyone. So today our presentation is Issue in Modern Higher Education in India, and I will be represent an overview of higher education in India and why we choose focusing on higher education. So this is our agenda. India, as one of the largest and most diverse country in the world, offer a charming landscape of opportunity and challenges in their education system. The third largest higher education system in the world is found in India, following the United States and China. India's higher education system is significant to the country goal, generating competent professionals, encouraging a technical development, and contribute to the global workforce. Key feature of higher education in India. Indian education system is incredibly diverse. Public institutions like IIT and IIMS are world renowned, while private universities are gaining prominence. Illicitly of the year, the government has emphasized digital education and skill development to prepare students for the global economy. Next is strength of system. One of India's biggest strengths is large pool of young talent. Entrance exam like JEE and NEET maintain a level of meritocracy, and top institutions such as IIT and AIIMS have a global reputation of excellence. So next is the reason why we focus on higher education in India. Focusing on India higher education help us understand the potential and challenges of the one of the largest education system globally and its impact of future generation also. First one is global standing. This remarkable scope show the nation dedication to education and its function in meeting the demand of population that is explaining quickly. And however, India is more than just its size. A system of higher education play a key role in forming the workforce of the world. The second is a diversity of skill. In the education system is stand out for a remarkable diversity and skill with over 1,000 university and 40,000 college. It includes public, private institutions like IIT and AIIMS. Catering to well needs, students can push traditional fields like art and science or explore a cutting-edge area like AI and biotechnology. And the last one is economy impact. India's economy is significantly influenced by its higher education system. Third is provide a competent workforce that support important sections including a business, engineering, healthcare, and technology. It is well known that universities such as IIT and IIMS produce inventors and leaders who support startups. In general, India higher education enhance the country's standing in the international market in addition to developing talent for the nation economy.
My name is Ryo Sakamoto. I'm going to talk about the problems in Indian education. India has grown up radically in economical aspects. One of the growth factors is education. Especially Indian education has produced brilliant IT resources. However, there are some problems in Indian education. There are challenges which we think should be solved to develop Indian education. Quality of education. Access and equality, research and innovation, brain drain, financial constraints, outdated curriculum, overemphasis on exam, regulatory challenges, and skill gaps. I'm going to focus on three problems and explain them in details. These are the main problems in our presentation. Access and equality issues. India has the serious gap in access to higher education, especially how the students from rural areas and the specific communities children and forgotten. Quality quality of education is while India has prestigious institutions like IITS and IIMS, a significant number of universities and colleges suffer from poor infrastructure, outdated curricula, and unqualified faculty, leading to incons- inconsistencies in education quality. Brain drain is talented students often seek higher education opportunity abroad due to better facilities, research prospects, and job opportunity, leading to a lost skilled professionals. Next, I will talk about each province more deeply. Access. This is access equality. In elementary education, first semester of primary education, the enrollment rate for grades 1 to 5 is 100% for both urban and rural areas and for both, both males and females due to the compulsory educational system. However, after this curriculum, the number of students who take second and higher education decreases in India, especially female students from local areas. It's, be- it's because the rural people don't afford to pay the cost to take the quality education, and the industry in rural areas is based on the tasks which aren't needed to use their brain for playing. For example, agriculture, breeding, and so on. Their parents want them to help with the homework and take over the family businesses, not study further education. And Indian original culture can be the reason for this. Caste system has the characteristics that Indian people's job has already decided by their by their caste. Therefore, people with the low caste feel education isn't required because whichever they study or not, they are nothing with their success in life. Next, I'll talk about quality of education. Even though Indian education is regarded as the good education to become the brilliant engineer in the world, there is a significant gap between rural and urban and between public schools and private schools. Especially the environment of the public schools in rural areas has not been the comfortable facility for studying because lack of employ employability and poor infrastructure. Due to this problem, some poor students use the private school, which isn't permitted by the Indian government because some good private school, which is not allowed by the government, will teach them in more better environment than public school in rural by cheap cost. To solve this problem, co- the system for quality education should be established, especially the educational system for teachers must be produced. Next. Last, I'm going to talk about brain drain. Indian resources, especially IT resources, have a damage in America and Europe. They gave foreign IT resources preferential treatment to call them to America and Europe, and the resources go overseas for good treatment and rewards. India doesn't provide a conductive, conductive environment for working high technology because there are the gaps in the income between India. India a developed country, and Indian people can't choose their occupation as they like due to the caste system. To solve these problems, India needs to shift their brain to brain circulation. It means excellent Indians go to other countries to work there and get the knowledge and experience. After that, they go back to their local country and share the knowledge and technology they got in the country. However, to realize this style, the Indian government needs to improve the environment to make improve the environment to work to make every workers feel comfortable to work in India. For example, by assessing the workers without their curse with the curse is a good way to solve this. That's all for my part. Thank you so much.
I talk about the pros and cons of the Indian education system. India has many good points, but also some problems. I look at both and understand how it affects students and the future. One of the biggest strengths of the Indian education system is its success in IT and engineering. Many Indian professionals work in top global companies. For example, people from India lead big companies like Google and Microsoft. This shows how strong their education in technology is. Schools like the Indian Institute of Technology are very famous for training students in science and engineering. The courses are hard and require a lot of work, but they prepare students to succeed globally. This focus on IT and engineering has helped India become a leader in the technology world. India also has many types of schools, which is another strength. There are government schools, private schools, and even international schools. Students can choose the schools that works best for them. For example, private schools often have better facilities, while government schools are free and help students from poor families. In big cities, there are schools with advanced programs like international curriculums for students who want global education. This variety gives students many opportunities to learn. However, the quality of schools is not always the same, and some schools are much better than others. This creates challenges for students who cannot access good schools. Even though there are many schools in India, the quality is not equal. In rural areas, many government schools do not have enough teachers or proper classrooms. Sometimes students do not have basic resources like books or clean water. This makes it very hard for them to learn. On the other hand, students in private schools or urban areas have better opportunities like access to technology and skilled teachers. This difference between rural and urban education creates a big gap. Many children in rural areas cannot compete with those from better schools, which limits their future options. Another problem in the Indian education system is political interference. Often decisions about schools and education policies are made by politicians for their own benefits. For example, they might build many new schools to get more votes, but they do not focus on the quality of education in those schools. Sometimes political leaders change the curriculum to match their own leaders or beliefs, which can confuse students. This kind of interference slows down real progress and make it harder to improve the education system. To sum up, the Indian education system has both strengths and weakness. It is great at producing talent in IT and engineering, and it offers many types of schools for students to choose from. However, it also faces problems like difference in school quality and political interference. If these problems are solved, the system can become better and more equal. India has a lot of potential to improve its education and prepare students for a bright future. To improve India's education system, we need to focus on solving key problems. First, we should increase funding for rural schools. Many schools in rural areas lack basic resources like books, clean water, and proper classrooms. By providing more funding, we can build better schools and give students the tools they need to learn. Second, we need to hire and train more qualified teachers. Teachers are the heart of any education system, and well-trained educators can make a big difference in students' learning. We should also provide better salaries and benefits to encourage talented individuals to become teachers, especially in rural and underserved areas. Next, we need to reduce political interference in education. Education policies should focus on students' needs, not political goals. By creating independent education boards, we can ensure fair and effective decisions for the long-term benefits of the system. We also need to monitor and regulate private institutions. Private schools play an important role, but they should maintain high standards and keep fees reasonable so more students can access quality education. Finally, technology can be a game changer. By expanding internet access to rural areas and using online platforms, we can provide students and teachers with better learning opportunities, even in remote regions. Technology has the power to connect everyone and make education more inclusive.
So the next topic is a comparative of higher education between India and Japan. Japan and India are both Asian nations with a strong economy and Asian history. However, the cultural, economy, and social factors that influence their education system differ greatly. While Japan education system is smaller but more advanced and competitive, India has a large and diverse system with a million of students. A comparison of these two provide important information about how each nation view equality, access, and education. A gender gap in education in both countries. Gender play a role in shaping education access and outcome. There is still a large gender gap in India, particularly in a rural area, with the fact that more women than ever before are enrolling in higher education. Many women are still prevented from pushing higher education or job in industry like technology and engineering by a cultural and a social convention, such as early marriage and expectation from a parental responsibility. With the high percentage of female university students in Japan, women continue to be underrepresented in a leadership role, and in some economic disciplines, especially STEM, is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Women tend to leave the job after college or choose easier a career option as a result of a social expectation surrounding gender role and the similar and differences. When we look at these two countries, you can see both of similar and different. The similar both countries are dealing with a gap in gender equality in higher education and professional section. In both India and Japan, women face a barrier to achieving a leadership role. A different This problem a large in scale. While the difficulty in Japan is mainly about keeping women in the job after graduation and making sure they have an equal opportunity. The gender gap in higher education in India is more obvious in a rural area. So the overall India and Japan have different starting point, but they share a common goal of improving gender equality and enhancing the quality of their higher education system. So our conclusion to summarize India higher education system is an important point is to have a huge potential to influence millions of young people future and make significant contribution to the global knowledge economy. India has the potential to become a worldwide center for education because of its intensive network of educational institutions and its increasing focus on innovation and skill development. But there are difficult along the way. Important to action involve reducing the gap between urban and rural area, enhancing infrastructure, encouraging a culture of research and innovation. One encouraging step is resolving this problem, and the top ranking educational system is adoption of a National Education Policy 2020 that has introduced transformative change to make higher education more acceptable and inclusive. In the future, government and educator and instructor leader will need to work together to drive long-term reform. Finally, higher education in India has the potential to not only improve individual life, but also move the country toward a greater economy and social advancement. So this is our presentation group. Thank you so much for attention.